Oh, hello there, yes. Well, yesterday was another day of stirring up societal tensions for very limited electoral gain, and I imagine it will be the same today because, good grief, we mustn't talk about very important things. We've got to talk about quite trivial things that we'll pretend are very, very important. Yes, we had that nice Mr. Farage yesterday who, has to make an announcement a day, I think, just in case somebody might notice that whenever he does actually sit down for an interview, like with the BBC, it all goes a bit, a little bit left field, doesn't it? Yes, if I can use that particular phrase, I think I can in his respect. Yes, suggesting that we're going to have tougher prison sentences and more people in prison, which is brilliant. Apart from the fact that, 50 odd years of criminology tells anybody that cares to know anything about anything that tougher prison sentences don't reduce crime, and putting more people in prison doesn't reduce crime either. There's a sociological rule of thumb, I believe, that Durkheim came out with, which says if your prisons are full, then your laws are too tough, and if your prisons are empty, your laws are too lax, and our prisons are very full. But if you look at high crime countries, they also tend to have very high prison populations and very, very tough laws. Look at the USA. You might well be killed if you murder somebody there. Doesn't stop them. It's not the way it works. Loads and loads of countries with really, really, really soft prison sentences and soft prison systems have very low crime rates. That, unfortunately, is reality. And talking of which, yesterday did have to smile at the Daily Telegraph coming out with this. Labour's Islamophobia law could, but probably won't, hand reform a 100-seat majority, which all the opinion polls you may have noticed have said anyway. Angela Rayner's proposal would set off a tinderbox under the party's working class vote, says Pollster. Yes, in this case the pollster is JPL, who, they were set up by some friends of George Osborne, and they will very much come out with the answers that you want them to come out with for money. There's a lot of questions in the link down below, inevitably. There's a lot of questions about Islamophobia in the poll, and it doesn't really tell us anything about anything. So let's just have a brief dive in, just in case I might be telling porkies, shall we? So after a sort of preamble about people's voting intentions and what they found important, they decide to sort of tackle on various issues, including Islamophobia. So we get this: tackling Islamophobia. If Keir Starmer and the Labour government spent more time on each of these issues, would it make you more or less likely to vote for them in the future? And to which the answer is, as you can see, basically, whatever, we don't really care. Moving on from that, do you think that protections against Islamophobia in society currently are about the right level? Yeah, and you can see again, it's basically, whatever, don't really know. Not entirely sure what the word Islamophobia means. I didn't know that there was going to be some laws about Islamophobia because I don't actually pay that much attention, said the British public. Still, never mind that now. Before today, how much had you heard, if anything, about a new definition of Islamophobia being considered by the government? Look at that, yeah, nothing at all. 51% of the British, of the 2,000 odd people that they surveyed. It's not a thing. It's a thing in the media. It's a thing for Toby Young. It's a thing for conservative backbenchers. It's a thing on GB News. But for people, it isn't a thing. It isn't a thing. Anyway, moving on, just based on what you already know, even if this is your first time hearing it, just to prompt you another umpteen times, do you think the new definition of Islamophobia sounds like a good or a bad thing? Yeah, bearing in mind that the majority of people hadn't heard of this, right? Yeah, wholly good, 3%, somewhat good, 33%, 16%, sorry, neither good nor bad, 28%. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. You can see it's just a split, right? It's just a split. People don't know. People don't care. Yeah? Still, I wonder where the Telegraph got that headline from. I think it was around the back. Anyway, considering everything you've just read about the Labour government enacting a new definition of Islamophobia, you can see the way that people are being pointed in the right direction here. If they introduced one, will it make you more or less likely to vote for them? And this is the key part of the poll, okay? So, much more likely, 5%, somewhat more likely, 13%, neither more nor less likely, 38%, and so it goes similar to the bottom. In other words, no change whatsoever. And you can reinforce this, as indeed I did check, with their view about Islamophobia. Here we go. Imagine if the Labour government enacted this definition. Which party would you vote for if there was a general election tomorrow? And you can see that it's basically in line with the opinion polls as they are at the moment. This is absolutely a nothing poll about nothing, and even pointing people in the right direction, which is, I'm very disgusted at the Labour Party bringing in Islamophobia law and I won't vote for them. People still don't do it. It's not a thing. Okay, GB News, it's not a thing. Still, that won't stop them. That won't stop Toby Young and all the rest of them jumping up and down about it, because it ticks so many heavenly wonderful boxes about free speech and brown people. Not that we're racist, you understand. We just think that Muslims are all bad collectively. Not that that's racist, of course. Yes, not a thing. Still, it helps, doesn't it, to, stir up that nasty virulence that Reform are relying upon to get into power, as and when we have an election in several years' time. Still, probably, yes. Still, there will be no real world outcomes of this, will there? No, I'm sure that, a whole bunch of people standing outside a migrant hotel won't be incensed by any of this stuff. Why would they be? After all, they're all just proud patriots who are very, very peaceful, and unless Antifa are bussed in by the police, and even when Antifa aren't bussed in by the police, they still somehow manage to get arrested. But just, the other thing that caught my eye yesterday was something that just doesn't happen. Now, we're often really being told that for some reason all the lefties like me are far too influenced and too obsessed with the idea of right-wing terrorism. But there is currently an ongoing trial. Yes, I know that thing that doesn't happen, of a neo-Nazi. Yes, I know those people that don't exist. Yes, rather an unfortunate young man who, basically has been radicalised online and unfortunately has done some rather stupid things. The only thing that surprises me about this is that he hasn't got an autistic diagnosis, but we might well hear that later on in the trial. Even GB News carried this one. And you have to say to yourself, when was the last time you heard a Muslim bloke being done for bomb-making equipment? It's about equally rare, isn't it? Other things that also don't happen. But, of course, again, that won't actually help to stir the pot, because the most important thing is that you realise that the only people with any solutions to all of the problems that we face are that nice Mr. Farage and the Reform Party, even though you know full well that every time that guy opens his mouth, it just appears to be utterly tosh. And the only people that seem to be really interested in what he has to say are people who, are funded by very big business interests. Yes. I could make a comment or two about the notion of capitalism there, but hey, you're big enough to be able to join those dots all by yourself. Yeah, still, I would say that being an elite, wouldn't I? Anyway, do have a lovely day if you can. I don't know. Is it actually supposed to rain? I've not seen very much evidence of this. Do have a good one.